Good morning, everyone. It's 7 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It's Saturday. It's February 10th, 2024. It's a Super Bowl weekend. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor, in the house. Shane Mahomes, half man, half amazing, in Kamloops, Canada, with his camera blinking on and off. So I don't know if I'm getting him or not.
Yeah, I gotta reset my computer. I'll call you back.
Well, it's okay. You can be on the phone, do it at a break at the bottom of the hour.
All right, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, I'll just leave you on the phone. And
Oh, and this is the week of Valentine's.
Valentine's
Saint
Day
Valentine's
is coming
will be
up.
out there.
Yeah, we got to talk about that in just a second. But first of all, Shane, it's World Pulses Day. Were you aware of World Pulses Day?
Yes, because I check my pulse every day.
Okay,
I'm an avid pulse lover. Yes.
Okay, well, the theme for 2024, this is from the UN. Pulses Day is a UN thing. And pulses, the theme for 2024 is Pulses Nourishing Soils and People. It highlights how pulses contribute to soil health and provide rich nutrition, high fiber, and low fat, Shane. So it doesn't explain what the hell pulses are.
But well, my neighbors complain. They call it a put hole.
Well, I don't
my
know,
back
but
door here, but
yeah.
It's my pulse hole. I go out there and
Yeah.
stand there for 10 or 15 minutes and check my phone out.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's a
I'm
thing,
one. I'm one with the earth, Thomas.
Yeah, well,
every day.
That's you. That's for sure. Hey, it's also Teddy Day. 4 days before Valentine's Day, you're supposed to give your loved one a stuffed animal or a teddy bear or something to show your undying love for that person. So we hope that everybody will get out there and get their teddy bear done. And it's also the year of it's the Lunar New Year, Shane. The Chinese New Year is today.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did you check the animal out for this year?
I know what the animal this year is the dragon. So.
Oh, it's the dragon.
It's the dragon. Yeah. According to the Chinese zodiac, each year honors an animal. There are 12 animals: the rat, the ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. And the Vietnamese are slightly different. They honor the cat instead of the rabbit and the buffalo instead of the ox. But according to legend, it is believed that God invited all animals to bid him farewell before he departed from Earth, and only 12 showed up, Shane.
Well, the others were on Noah's Ark.
Well, no, God hadn't invented Taylor Swift yet.
That's correct. Yes,
they would have been there for that for sure. So, all right, Shane, it's Super Bowl weekend. We got the Chiefs and the 49ers.
And Nora's going to track Taylor Swift's jet from Tokyo to Las Vegas, 12-hour flight.
Absolutely.
Plus, she loses half a day.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, coming from Asia, she'll get back before she left, so it'll be okay.
That's right.
She'll be going against the time because
when I
came back from
4-day run of her concert in Tokyo.
When I came back from Vietnam, we landed in Hawaii 30 minutes before I left. So, just so you know, that's how the time works going that direction.
Taylor Swift would have seen over 4 times more people in her 4 concerts the last 4 nights than the people sitting in the Super Bowl in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Well, the 49ers are 2-point favorites, Shane. That's nothing. That's a tie game for all intents and purposes, I guess. They're both playing on the road. They're both not sleeping in their own beds. They're both not in a familiar locker room. So, but let's take a phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with the award-winning Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Good morning from the Big Stick, where we just got some fresh snow.
Glad we got a here too.
By the way, pulses, that's a crop. Like chickpeas, lentils, and such.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and that's why, you don't check the pulse of a soil because there's no pulse.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here I had my fingers on my yard all morning and I couldn't find anything. So that's my problem, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I wonder why some days I feel like soil. No heart.
Shane. Come on now, Shane. Soil is dirt, and you're not dirt. You're one of the Swiss Army knives. So sharpen them babies up, because I believe today's going to be quite the day.
Yeah.
I've got. You mentioned Chinese New Year is the year of the dragon. Watch out.
Yeah.
This could be.
Yeah.
This could be the year the dragon actually starts to roar and breathe fire. So I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm more worried. I'm more worried about the armistice in Korea because
really?
because if North Korea does anything to attack South Korea, it's an armistice. Everyone that was involved in that war has to send troops to defend South Korea. World War. There you go. World War. Boom. Overnight.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Come on now, Shane. Enough is enough. We have enough wars.
Well, no, it's not. I agree with you, but I look at it, from what could be the worst situation globally, because clearly the Democrats want a war.
Well, they always have. I had a friend of mine call me, wish me happy birthday, which was yesterday, and he said,
happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you. And he said, Jerry, the world's really it's a crazy place. And I said, oh, really? When did you just discover that, son? I mean, come on. It's been that way for quite some time.
Yeah.
And he's finally waking up, I think, hopefully. But it's just a sign of what people are, the people's mindset. And I just wanted to make this comment. This special prosecutor, he says Biden can't stand trial, but he can lead. He can lead the country. That doesn't make sense to me. How about you?
Well, Shane and I have a radio show. What sense does that make?
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, at least you're on the radio, guys, and we appreciate it. All of us out here, including including the Seminole texters. But
yes.
This report has placed the U.S. in a very precarious position in a dangerous world that is looking at this. They just see what this chief executive that we have and our commander in chief, and he did mention that President Biden violated the Espionage Act, and I think it was Mark Levin yesterday went into detail about this. And
yes.
one of the worst things was he revealed some of these classified documents to a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
He had a ghostwriter help him with his son's book.
With his son's book. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Look, the one thing about this report that's really strange, and because I was shocked. I think the Democratic Party and Biden are finished, but I could be wrong after watching that news conference. But having said that, it's incredible to me that this guy goes through this whole process, which is so debilitating and insulting. And boy, people accuse me about saying nasty stuff about your government. This was a guy that was hired by your government for 2 years to do this. But the one thing he didn't say was, well, we can't charge him because we can't indict a sitting president.
Right. But he did a...
He didn't put it in the report.
Yes, I know it. But basically what he's done is a Comey, just like Comey did with Hillary Clinton.
Exactly.
What do you mean you can't indict a sitting president? What about Clinton?
No, he was...
Well, they
didn't indict him. They tried to...
Well, they impeached him.
Get rid of him.
Yeah.
With impeachment. That's what your founding fathers put a provision in your Constitution under the executive clause, how to remove a president for high crimes and misdemeanors, even a parking ticket, which we've talked about dozens of times. So there's already provision in there. But you keep hearing this comment about with Trump. Well, you can't indict a president. Well, no, that's why you have this clause to impeach him. Anyway, I found Jerry that quite strange.
Well, I did too, but the key thing is he did violate the Immigration and Naturalization Act. And I think one of the talk show hosts, and I can't remember who it was, it may have been Dan Bongino, and he pointed out the particular section and everything, and he read it. And to me, that's impeachable. I mean, he could be impeached or inquiry. And speaking of impeachment, are they going to revisit this thing on Mayorkas?
Yeah, they'll do another one. Yeah, for all the good it'll do.
Will. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why that congressman went back and switched his vote from yes to no so they could bring it to the floor again.
Yeah.
Okay, but what got me was a particular senator from Oklahoma, ex-military as a matter of fact, and I don't think he ever read the bill, but of course he voted no, along with a couple others, and that's why you had the tie, I believe.
Yeah. Well, a tie would be a loss, and you couldn't bring it back. So the other congressman, as Shane rightly pointed out, changed his vote to no, so they could revisit this. That it wasn't a tie vote, because ties go to the
File 13.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. And there's a lot of speculation that Michelle Obama may want to get into this, or they may pick her during the convention or something. I don't think so. I really don't think so, because simply, if you remember, she didn't particularly like hanging around in Washington D.C. As a matter of fact, she tried her best to get the heck out of there whenever she could. So I don't.
Well, this is going to be as bad as 1968 in Chicago. Remember Mayor Daley and his dogs and police and rioting people with the Vietnam War, and they get into the convention hall and it's a mess. And then in the 11th hour, they pick McCarthy, and then he picks a senator who ends up having to be replaced because he had shock treatment from mental problems. Do you remember all of that? I mean, we thought we'd never see anything like. I think the convention this year in Chicago is going to be a zinger for the Democrats.
Well, and I believe that they might pick a woman like Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And another thing also, if you're nominated to be the president of the United States, you're going to have to show your earnings statement sooner or later. And I don't believe that Michelle Obama would want to disclose her earnings statements.
Probably not. No. No, every year as president, you have to disclose all source of income. Trump's was 104 pages, the last one that I looked at. So just to give you an idea.
But his Mar-a-Lago estate is only worth $18 million.
Well,
which is about the price of a parking lot now.
Yeah, he's got about 10 golf courses that plus investments all over the place. So yeah, he's not hurting for money.
And let's get one thing clear. I don't want to hear any of these Seminole texters calling in and saying he was a convicted rapist or he was convicted of sexual assault. The last two trials in New York were defamation and slander, and that was it, okay? Yeah. And they were civil cases anyway. And there's a good possibility, gentlemen, since this report came out, there's a very good possibility that they might drop the case on the document case. They might. It's not a sure thing, but they
have to, because they've set the Justice Department set a precedent with your president on this. So.
Oh, really?
You know, with what they've already admitted that he did it. He had him, and
he willfully had him.
They couldn't try him. They couldn't charge him because they couldn't try him because he's not mentally proficient.
Right. Hey, gentlemen, I have one other quick question. There's a commercial going on out there for this outfit called Y Refi. And can you explain what that is?
What, the Y Refi for your home loans?
I don't know what it is. It says invest in Y Refi, and then it's not, your investment isn't based on the stock market or anything else like that. And if you want your principal, you will receive it back without any loss. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what the heck? If you're investing, you're supposed to make some sort of a profit. Where does that go?
Well, you'd think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what this Y refi is. And not that I'm going to, throw any money at it. I was just curious. All of a sudden you see a ton of commercials for this outfit.
Well, it's the Chicago Atlantic Real Estate Finance Incorporated. The share stock's $15.74. And market cap of 286 million shares. So it looks like it's been up, on the way up at least, from the 1 day, at least last Friday at least.
Huh. So you're basically investing in real estate?
Well, it doesn't really say what it is, at least not in here anyway. Let's see.
Great.
See what else I can find here. The excitement of investing in a company that can reverse its fortunes is a big draw for some speculators, so even companies that have no revenue, no profit, and no record of falling short can manage to find investors. But the reality is that when a company loses money each year for long enough, its investors will usually take their shares of their losses. Loss-making companies are always racing against time to reach financial stability, so investors in these companies may be taking on more risk than they should. So it sounds like they're advertising to get dough because they're failing. So that would be my guess.
So Tom, if you're losing money and you got a radio show, you could do some damage.
I could do some real damage, man.
Yeah, there you go.
You remember the 60s when DJs, their contracts were up, they used to lock themselves in the studio and they'd play the same song over and over and over again. So I don't know if the lock on this door works or not, but I could cut Bongino off and just be on here all day. I want my contract renewed.
One last thing, and I hope she's listening out there, and that's Nancy from Roundup. She made a statement on Aaron's show that she's actually going to put her hat in the ring for running for state legislature in her district. And Nancy, if you're listening, if I could clone myself, I would move to your district in a tent. I wouldn't care, and I'd vote for you. Yeah. But I can't.
Oh, you can go. You can just drive there. You can drive there and vote for her. Everyone, Democrats do it all the time.
Yeah,
Well, okay. So I could register as Mickey Mouse or.
Well, go to the cemetery, find a name, go down and get a birth certificate, and.
You have the birth date. You know, you
knock yourself
out. You've got the birth date.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy.
You can use Shane's last 4 digits of his Social Security.
That's right. 0000.
Yeah,
see how easy that is?
Well, gentlemen, and can I ask you? Did you see what the president did in this last press conference or whatever?
Oh, please! I'm.
And then he came back.
Yeah,
I know. I had to call my sisters. I was in a panic.
Well, I couldn't understand if it was a Freudian slip, because Sigmund Freud said a slip of the tongue isn't necessarily a slip of the mind.
Right.
And he said the president of Mexico opened up the gate over there in Giza.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, now hang on a second. The president of Mexico, actually, you opened up the gate in Mexico over here. So was that a slip of the mind or what?
Yeah.
Anyway, I just feel that we have to hang in there. In other words, this man is maybe going to do the LBJ and announce that he won't run again. But in the meantime, we're still in a precarious position as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we're going to talk about Biden in great detail after we finish the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
So hang on for that.
I'm rooting for Andy Reid simply because he was, the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, and he really brought our team
and is retiring.
A good position. He is?
Well, they say he's retiring at the end of this year. So.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, well, I hope he goes out with a bang.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. Have a great day, good weekend, and God bless to both of you.
All
Stay
right.
safe.
Thanks so much, Jerry. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
You
All
bet.
right. All right, Shane. Kansas City, I mentioned they're both road teams. Kansas City on the road, they were 6-2. The 49ers are 7-2. The points allowed 298 for 49ers, 294 for the Chiefs. So it's a pretty even game. 2 point to the 49ers. They're the home team, I believe. Well, they're considered the home team, but obviously they're not at home. But anyway. So
Well, what have you always said? What wins championships?
defense. Yeah.
There you go. Who's got the best defense between the two teams?
Yeah. Well, 49ers, I think, do on paper
No,
anyway.
Kansas City's got it. Kansas City's got them beat on the defense. So we'll see if it holds up.
Well, we'll find out. But I don't know.
We're going to, buddy.
Yeah. Well, we'll certainly find out, but we're going to talk about it a little more because I was in Kansas City's wheelhouse until Monday night, and when we come back,
What happened?
I'll tell you what happened when we come back, and why I'm changing my vote. All right. Let's go wrap it up for this segment. Hey, thank you for joining us. If you want to be a part of the big show, 522-TALK is the number. 406 is our area code, the only one in Montana, 406-522-TALK, 8255. You can text us at 406-478-8298. And you can also email us at tom@kmmsam.com. We'll be back with more right after the news. Stay tuned. 27 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Saturday. It's February 10th, 2024, Super Bowl weekend. Kansas City Chiefs taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Should be a pretty good game. The Chiefs are the 49ers are the favorites by 2 points. So basically, it's a tie game. So
That's right.
now,
Yeah, it should be an interesting game. The big difference is, Mahomes has a $60 million contract, and that Brody guy is $850,000. He's the irrelevant quarterback.
well, Mahomes doesn't have a $60 million contract. He's number 7. I looked it up last night.
Oh, okay.
He's number 7.
Oh, it's Jackson. It's Jackson that's got it, right? Or
No, it's the guy from you have to
golf
say that.
from
Burrows.
Detroit. Burrows.
Burrows is
Oh,
number
right.
one.
Yeah.
Burrows
from
is number
Cincinnati.
1. Yeah, Burrows is number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, I was in the Chiefs' corner until Monday night. And what happened Monday night?
Right.
Well, Monday night was the Grammys. Taylor Swift won Album of the Year for the 4th time. Shame.
That was amazing.
So, yeah.
That was amazing.
Yep.
And she deserves it.
Well, yeah, I'm not taking anything away from her at all. She's worked her butt off and is a good businesswoman and has no scandals and, doesn't anything stupid most of the time other than, they claim that she'll probably endorse Joe Biden, but all of her songs have been about
No, she won't.
All her
No,
songs
she
have
won't.
been about picking the wrong guy. So we'll see.
Yeah, she won't pick. She won't pick the Democrats. They stole her library.
Well, I don't know about that, but well, anyway.
What's that guy's name that financed, Black Lives Matter and Antifa and all the Democratic prosecutors? What's his name?
Soros?
Yeah,
George
he in a
Soros?
private equity fund talked her manager into selling her. We talked about it. Her music for $50 million.
Oh,
So,
yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with Biden.
No, but they're all Democrats.
I don't make that connection.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. But
Well, as a
anyway,
business person, I think she does.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
She's a business person.
the pressure on Kelsey is going to be immense because of her win on Monday night, and I will quote you Kelsey's own words on this, Shane, to back me up. I told
Yeah, he
her.
did a news conference yesterday. Yeah.
You want to let me do this or not?
Yeah. I'm just agreeing with you. Go, do it.
I told her that
I'm encouraging you.
All right, keep talking. Go ahead.
I wasn't talking to you. I was encouraging you. Tell everyone what Kelsey said in his press conference.
I will if you'll shut up while I talk.
Oh, is this where I hang up?
You keep talking. I told her that I will have to hold up my end of the bargain and come home with some hardware too. If he doesn't come home with the hardware, oh man, I don't know, Shane. That's tough.
Hey, look, they're both good-looking people. They're both in the prime of their life. They're both in businesses where they got to be away from one another. So they already know right up front it's a long-distance relationship, and that works for them. So let them have a good time while they are. If it improves, great, and if it doesn't, that's okay too.
Well, I don't have a problem with that, but I'm just telling you that man, he's going to have either an MVP game or it's over. So I think the pressure on the Chiefs is going to be more than they can overcome because of Taylor. So that's my position.
I don't think so.
Okay.
These guys,
okay.
They came back in the last part of the year and they got their offense working properly. Defense has been good and kept them in the. It
doesn't have anything to do with that. It
competition.
doesn't. Whatever happened during the year has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't. I mean, playing athletics at the college level, I will tell you that what you did in the regular season when you go into a tournament has no bearing on anything.
I believe you on that one. Good.
Yeah.
Good
well,
man,
the average person will spend $86 on Super Bowl food and drinks. Shane, what do you think?
Well, they say they're 600,000 people are going to Vegas for it. Of course, that doesn't matter. They got over 50,000 rooms, or what are we talking about? They got over 200,000 rooms or whatever. And then on top of that, 600 million is being bet on it. People are betting, that Kelsey will score a touchdown before Kittle.
Well, we'll see, I guess. We'll see.
Well, that's why we watch it.
Well, that's true. Let's take a phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Call your own with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Oh, that's Clinton. It's snowing out here at the Four Corners. Is it snowing in both towns?
Snowing here. Snowing on my way in.
Okay. Well, Shane, is it snowing in Canada?
No, we have some snow on the ground from the clouds, but clear sky and sunny here.
Yeah, well, I was just kind of curious. I guess we got a little weather front coming in, which we need pretty bad, the moisture, I guess. But anyway, I called this morning, and who's going to win, the Chiefs or the 49ers?
Chiefs.
49ers.
Oh, you're both split, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't picked that. I haven't thought about it too much, but I think maybe the 49ers myself.
There you go.
Well, I think they've got the most tools.
Yeah, you're right. Right, Tom. Well, here's what I called about. I said this one time years ago when we were in there at the Grand Tree, and I think it was the Grand Tree or the one of the motels. I forget which one it was. And we talked about UFOs.
Yeah.
I did. Remember that, Tom?
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, the night with Tom and Shane.
Yeah. Well, In 1967, that's the year that me and my two hired men seen the UFO.
Yeah.
But that was also the year that they shut down all the missiles in silos and stuff around Great Falls and Lewistown. The UFOs shut them down. Unidentified flying objects. And there's something that's been kind of bothering me about all this. I was wondering why they did that. And so I kind of figured it out. Right now, as you know, Tom and Shane, they're replacing the missiles that are in our silos with newer and better ones. Well, I don't think we'd ever use them, but if we did, Tom, when you went to Vietnam, did you ever go into Japan at all?
I went into Tokyo on the way there. We stayed at Camp Zama in Tokyo on the way to. We went there. We went to Guam, and then we went to Vietnam.
Have you ever seen what an atomic bomb does to the land?
Well, I've seen pictures of the before and after of Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Oh, I've been to both places, and it turns it to glass.
Oh yeah, it's hot. It's a lot of heat.
So what I'm thinking is, if we ever use these missiles that we have in these silos, whether it be us or Russia or whomever, or North Korea, they got them, and so does, I think, Pakistan's got them also, and India, and everybody's got them.
Iran, Israel.
And now I'm gonna go out here, and I'll get a lot of bad comments probably on this. But I think if we ever tried it or did use it, I think them folks from up there in the heavens, wherever they're at, would probably try to stop it, because what we would do is destroy the whole world, our world anyway. And so I can't understand why our government wants to replace these missiles when they know damn well if they were ever used, that'd be the end of all mankind. So can somebody explain this to me and tell me why? You know, why they're doing this, and is it for strength to make us a big shot in the world? What is it, Tom? Do you know?
Well, we've got to be the biggest dog in the meat house, otherwise you're going to be attacked. You know, I mean, Reagan had the idea that if you had a military of such size, it would be unthinkable to attack because you would be annihilated for that attack. And that's, I think the thinking of America has always been that way, that you have the most powerful military in the world as a deterrent for anyone to attack you. That's my thinking on it. Now, I don't know, Shane may have another point of view.
What's your opinion, Shane?
Well, I agree with Tom. It's peace through security, but the whole world, the Cold War was based on mutual assured destruction, and at that time there were somewhere between 75,000 and 100,000 nuclear weapons in the world, and so the START treaties that Reagan initiated and everyone sort of agreed to since then has reduced that to less than 10% of that. So it's just one of these things that we know from history, as military builds its strength in a country, it becomes necessary for anyone that may be or thinking of being in conflict with them, strategically or economically or politically, that they got to have the same toolbox.
Well, it's kind of like Reagan said, peace through strength. Well, is this a strength when we put these new missiles in the ground in our silos and stuff? Is that the right thing to do? And now here's another thing that's bothered me. That's one thing. I don't think we should be doing that myself. But here's one other thing that's really bothered me. How many Chinese did they say that crossed the border, Tom?
Well, there's quite a few that they've. We don't know how many got away. That didn't get caught, but there's been quite a few caught. certainly.
Well, they
About
said there was
35,000 they caught, yeah.
They said there was about,
35,000.
according to the TV, what I seen on TV, they said there was about 20,000 Chinese that came into this country, and them 8 million people that supposedly come across that border. So what does that say to you? And they're all of military age.
Well, yeah, they're ready to go. Well, we've already seen in New York City what's going on with them.
Well, it kind of bothered me. I don't know if it's bothering you or anybody else out there, but I'm kind of looking at the bad side of it. I hope I'm wrong, but all hell could break loose in this country if we keep allowing these folks to flood into this country like they've been doing. And then I think about the atomic weapons they're putting in the ground up here in Great Falls, and God, I don't know, they might be doing them down in Kansas and them other countries, states too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I don't know about you guys, I seen what they can do. I was at Hiroshima and Nagasaki both, and boy, I'll tell you, it's not good. So I just kind of wanted to hear other people's opinion. Maybe I'm crazy, I don't know. I'm an old 89-year-old man, but I might be crazy, but I don't think so. And if I want somebody else that's on this radio, you know, you and Tom and Shane and whoever else is out there to answer my damn question, what they think. Because we're in a precarious time, don't you think, Tom?
Well, I think we are. We're the only country on the planet who has ever resorted to nuclear weapons.
Right. Yep. I've seen.
Well, we're in a precarious position. We have been since the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. the only country that's ever used a nuclear weapon, and you know, I would have to say that anyone that uses one will become extinct.
Oh, I think they claim if they sent up one into the atmosphere up so far, it would shut the power grid down probably forever. That's
Well,
what
it's possible,
they claim.
yeah.
Well,
Electromagnetic.
yeah, it would
pulse,
have to be. It'd have to be around 2,500 feet for the electrical magnetic pulse to have that kind of effect. Certainly over the northeast or north central United States. But most of these are targeted to go off about 500 feet above ground anyway. But the reason they have so many is because they're not sure that 90% of them will go off. That was the Cold War problem. But they've improved the triggering mechanism, you know, in the last 50 years and 60 years. So, you know, they've improved that average to maybe 10 to 15%. But that's still enough to destroy the world.
Well, they claim that if you set one off in the atmosphere, it would destroy the whole damn electrical grid pretty much around the world. And
no, it would affect the grid in the United States within a 50,000 or 5 to 20,000 square mile area, but that would override the grid and cause it to shut down.
Oh. Well, I don't know, but I know one thing for sure. If they ever set them off at a high altitude, you know, I think we're going to have some interference from them guys up there in the sky somewhere. But anyway, I was just curious what you guys thought about it. And if they set it off, let's say at 2 miles up in the atmosphere, you know, it's only 10,000 feet, or maybe 100,000. What would happen? I don't know. But it scares the hell out of me when we're putting in new missiles in these silos and stuff, and with the borders wide open and these Chinese people and others coming in here, I think we're in a precarious position. And I want to hear what other people have to say besides me yapping on the radio here telling what I say.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
You betcha. Bye.
Appreciate it. All right. Yeah,
All right, Thomas, I'm Skyping you.
Okay. I see you. And let me click you okay. So clicked on you, but we'll see.
There you go. Oh.
See if you work. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. Don't
Tom
see
is
you. But,
unavailable. Okay.
no, hang on. What is?
I'll try again.
Well, yeah. I don't know. For some reason, the camera says no. So, anyway, we got you on the
Okay,
phone.
well-
So, well.
And I'm calling again on Skype, so
Well,
see if you see it.
why don't you wait till a break at the top of the hour, but okay. Whatever. Well, the other thing we got to talk about, Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs promises his Chiefs teammates he's going to bring them all back to Las Vegas for a big celebration if they win, Shane. So,
Why not?
yeah, why not do that?
He can afford it.
He can afford it. Yeah, why not?
For sure, yeah.
What's the problem after all? So,
Exactly. That's a pretty good deal.
yeah.
I mean, these guys during camp and everything, they all go out after a workout, and somebody picks up someone lays down their credit card.
Yeah. Sounds like a winner. Why not?
Yeah, it's usually the captain or, I was stunned to have Jerry tell me or suggest that the coach for the Chiefs would retire after this year. That would be too bad.
Well, that's I don't know if it's official yet, but that's what
That's
they've
the
been,
rumor?
That's what the rumor they've been talking about. I mean, it's been on the news
Really?
all week. Yeah, yeah, that this may be it for him. Go out in a blaze of glory, I guess.
And why not?
Well, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It's only
Well,
3 Super Bowls.
Well, yeah. Why not, huh?
Yeah,
Well-
the
Yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just saying that I answered you, so it should come on. I just find it amazing because when you have one of these teams that seem to dominate because of the quality, you look at the Eagles. It's so sad because it's not the same team that won the Super Bowl. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Kelsey on the Eagles team, their center, he retired after 10 years. But it just,
Well, he's
it's
been making
amazing that-
noises. He may not retire too. So
oh, okay, well, all right. Because I thought he announced it.
he did.
Anyway,
He
the
did,
point
but
I'm trying to
he may
make
change
is,
his mind.
yeah, the point I'm trying to make is what's remarkable, and the person that proved this was Tom Brady, because, he left New England and went to Tampa Bay, and they won a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So it's incredible how important the quarterback is. He handles the ball more than anyone else. Right?
True. Yeah.
And then, of course, it's the refereeing, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would predict in 2 or 3 years it'll all be AI.
Now,
The refs will be out there just doing the 10 yards and moving the sticks, and I don't think they'll be calling penalties for much longer.
no, they won't be doing that. Not
I mean, it's
not
AI,
in 3 years.
yeah.
Maybe 50 years, maybe, but
I mean, it's AI now, right?
well, we're in the Alexander Graham Bell phase of AI right now. I mean, we are, I mean,
that's good. No, I love the analogy, man.
No,
That's good.
I use it every week. I love it. I mean, it's making me money, so I can't complain.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but yeah, it's
Well, they always say, "Oh, we got to go to New York to check all the angles." Well, the only thing that's capable of doing that in a matter of seconds is an AI computer. Come on, or a computer. Either way.
Well, I don't have a problem with AI running the computers. That's no problem.
No, none at all.
All right. Well, we're getting up at the top of the hour here. I wasn't going to spend this
Yeah, we
much
are.
time on everything, but let's see if we can get one more phone call in here, possibly before we got to go to break. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Morning, Tom and Shane. This is another Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Based on turnover statistics
Mm-hmm.
in the NFL,
Yeah.
San Francisco is the likely winner.
All
And
right.
then I need to do a correction on Shane,
Yeah.
and he will take defense at this. There is only one referee in a football game.
Yeah.
There are not referees. They are all officials, and you have officiating. You do not have referee.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's an optics. And you're right.
Yeah, we always talk about the officiating of the game, the officials. So, and they got 7 of them, I think, that are out there, besides the referee and umpire, line judge, back judge, side judge. I don't know what all of them are. I don't remember what all of them are, but there's
The worst position for an official is the umpire,
Yeah.
because he's in the middle of the defense.
Yep. Yep. He's the one that can
thanks,
get
guys.
bowled over, hit with a ball, or
Well, they were actually offense is when they're doing passing.
yeah.
They will actually try and rub off defenders on
Yeah.
the umpire.
Use the umpire as a screen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I got to go, Tom. Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. All right. All right, Shane, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. We'll be back. We got to talk about Biden. If I can remember to talk about him. But when we come back, we'll be doing that. So stay tuned. And we got to talk about immigration, the cost of immigration. We got a lot to talk about today. So we'll be back with more right after the news at the top of the hour. So don't go away. Welcome back, everyone. It's 8 minutes after the hour, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. It's Saturday. It's February 10th, 2024. It's Super Bowl weekend. Tommy Galoff, Bozeman's unanimously elected Saturday morning mayor. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing, is on with me as well in Witless Protection Program up in Canada. So, well, Shane, we got to talk about Biden.
Aren't you excited?
I am excited. I was glued to the TV on Thursday watching. This is like the Indianapolis 500 when about 17 cars go nuts and they all start flipping over. This is like a car wreck you can't look away from.
No, that's right. It was just horrific. Yeah, because it was continuous. It's not like he made a mistake.
No,
I mean, the whole thing was a mistake. Everything, the whole thing.
Well,
I mean, when he started to reference, what was going on in Gaza, and then said he was the one who got Izzy, of the president of Mexico, to open up the border to let. I mean, and then it continued from there. It's just.
Yeah, Sisi's the Egypt guy, not Mexico. So, that's the issue there. So, well.
Yeah.
The question is, Shane, well, 2 things that stood out to me is, one, this is Biden's Department of Justice. Why would they put out such a scathing report on, the commander in chief? Where's the?
Well, it's not really the Justice Department. There's a special prosecutor that was appointed 2 years ago by your Attorney General.
Yeah.
So he doesn't. He works for and is paid by the Justice Department from funds allotted him from the House, but he's supposed to be wholly independent.
Well, supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but then it goes, once he turns in his report, which, if he was to recommend some prosecution, then the Department of Justice would review it and make a determination if they should proceed with a prosecution or not. But instead, he said, yeah, he's guilty. He willingly did this. He knowingly did this, but he's too old, and he would be a difficult defendant to prosecute because he has no memory, and then he put right in the report what he couldn't remember. When he was vice president, when his son died, and on and on and on. So it just went from bad to worse. And then, of course, you had the Supreme Court that was even more entertaining. That's the first time in 32 years that we've actually heard a hearing live with the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Colorado lawyer hired to represent the state and the Secretary of State of Colorado who pushed this to take Trump off the ballot, they just sounded like a couple of gnomes, Tom. It was the four liberal justices that cross-examined them. They were all they're all throwing softball pitches like, help me, agree with you.
Yeah.
But even the soft questions they asked, he didn't or she didn't answer. They went to their talking points. No.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Bad.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that stuck out from this is I think I know you've thought from the very beginning that Biden wouldn't make it to the election.
Right. But I'm, me, I think and write stuff down and triangles and lines and, the positive, the negative, it all. I don't see how they get out of it without it just getting the vice president, she's polling less than him.
Well, I know that's the issue, and that's why I wanted to kind of go over some of the scenarios that we could talk about here, Shane. That
okay.
The issue is coming up in 2 weeks. We've got South Carolina and Michigan, both. South Carolina's the Republicans, the Democrats have already had theirs, and Michigan will be coming up on the 27th. But after that, March 5th is Super Tuesday. So if anything is going to happen, you would think if they're going to have Biden step down or whatever they plan to do, they need to do it pretty quickly because new ballots would have to be printed in all these states, for the Democrats.
Well, that's the biggest problem the Democrats have is because, as we know from 2020 and 2002, a lot of states have already mailed out tens of millions of ballots that may not be usable.
Well, that's the thing. Well, there's all kinds of scenarios, but let's assume for the sake of argument that Biden stays in. The question, I guess, would be a contested convention. Even if he had the 1,900 and whatever delegates he needs, supposedly those delegates are locked in on the first ballot. But the DNC could certainly rescind that rule if they wanted to.
Well, my father lived to 89, and I watched him decline in 3 months, by 70%. And he basically, he had an aneurysm and held on for 7 days in a coma and passed away. Regrettably, a month before he was 90.
Mm-hmm.
Now, having said that and lived with it, the concern I have is watching what's happened in the last 6 months with Biden. I mean, it's getting bad. It's getting worse really fast.
Well, it is.
I don't think he can. I don't think he could. Could you imagine him trying to make an acceptance speech?
Well, he can still read a prompter. But we saw how he is impromptu in front of a screaming press corps, without his cue cards and without his teleprompter. So, it's an issue there for sure. But the thing I'm wondering, there's several scenarios. One is Biden could drop out, and you've got Kamala and Newsom could come out of the wings on the white horse, and I don't think that's going to happen because Newsom, I think, needs to run in a non-incumbent race. I think he's poising himself for 28. I don't think he's going to come out of the woodwork to save the Democrats. I think he'll let them do whatever, and I'll be the guy in 28. And Michelle Obama's not coming out either. She's not going to run.
The other side of it is that the Democrats don't care that they lose the White House as long as they stay in control of the Senate. That maybe that's where they throw all their eggs in that basket and hope they get by. It's not a down ballot vote.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've said is going to be on the ballot. However, the economy and this ongoing border crisis might overshadow that. I doubt it, but abortion is going to be on the ballot of all these states, and I agree with you that their objective is to keep control of the House and the Senate, if possible. And then it doesn't matter who's in office. You can stop any legislation you don't like.
Well, the Democrats are confronted with the exact same situation, with McCarthy and Humphrey and McCarthy in '68, and we saw what a mess that turned out to be because they elected another Biden. The Republicans had a Biden run, and so it's just an amazing reality that in politics in America, it's an extreme event. It has to be an extreme event for change.
Well, as one of the comedians said on Gutfeld, the Biden could be the first president assassinated by gravity.
That was funny. Yeah.
So, but I don't know. The Democrats have really dug themselves into a hole here because if Biden does resign, then you got Kamala. You can't step past her. You could run her and Gretchen Whitman, together somehow. Her as president, Gretchen as vice president, or the two against each other in the primaries. And we know Kamala would lose that one.
Well, if they put a woman, African American woman, who replaced Biden up again, I think the African American male vote would scream to the Republican Party. It's a cultural thing, even more so than literally a cultural thing. African American men are very domineering. They're very dominant in the family, and that's why the mess in the African American family has been so horrific. We've talked about this.
Oh yeah, sure.
From the Jim Crow days, 1920s to the 1970s, the African American family was doing really well. There are a lot of African Americans, billionaires out there, millionaires out there, but more importantly, they had businesses. They had hotels. They had clubs. They had their own businesses. They were doing terrific until Johnson came along.
Yeah. Yeah, the Great Society ruined America.
The Great Society ruined the American black family,
yeah.
And now you're seeing and I think it's a well-defined way of stating it, you see the Democrats destroying the nuclear family, as they call it, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see because I think Joe's performance on Thursday, if there was anybody that had any doubt in his ability to govern, that's been put to bed.
Well, you seem pretty calm about it, so I guess I can remain calm after what I just my mind was spinning when I listened to him. Especially after listening to the Supreme Court justices in the morning.
Yeah.
That was fascinating. I love the cross-examination that went on. And then you have this report come out, and then you have him do that evening press conference. And in one day, it's like the entire world turned upside down except for one purpose. Yeah. Well, no. For one person, it turned right side up, and that was Trump. he's won the case with Colorado because that's gone. That's 9-1, 8-1-9-0. That's gone. That's gone. If there's a dissenting vote, it'll only be for someone to be able to write up what the dissension was, so that Americans know that there was a dissenting opinion. But otherwise, it's 9-0. Then this report comes out in the news conference. Trump looks great. Now the case in Florida falls apart. The case in Washington has been delayed indefinitely, and it's just like it's follow the yellow brick road.
No.
Follow the yellow. I mean, Trump is heading down and wondering to know who's going to be his lion, his tiger, and his scarecrow.
Yeah. Well, the two.
Oh, and his running mate.
Yeah, the two cases that Trump couldn't pardon himself from, Georgia, if there's anything that happens in Georgia,
gone,
but Franny Ellis is on the chopping block because of her actions with a staffer or whatever. So that may go away. And the other one, of course, is in New York, that case.
Well, she'll resign, and the governor's Republican. So instead of, picking a crazy woke Democrat,
mm-hmm.
He'll pick someone else who will say, we're not proceeding with this. There's nothing really here.
Yeah. A phone call asking for more votes is not a criminal.
Look, a lot of this effort by the Democratic Party was a specific strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we've talked and you've said. In 2016 and even 2020, they wanted to use sex against him, and they tried to paint him as a extremist and a racist. This was a legal effort.
Mm-hmm.
They came up with 4 or 5 efforts of how to go after him legally to make the American people believe that he's, unfit legally not to run or even be president.
Yeah.
Now that's all fallen apart, and everything that he said reminds everybody what they did to him when he was president. Tried to impeach him twice and for bogus stuff, and this all turns out bogus too. So the huge winner this week, Donald Trump. He's huge.
Well, it would certainly seem like it. Dominated in Nevada for whatever that's worth.
Well, he knew he'd win.
Yeah, there wasn't anybody on the ballot, and Haley lost to none of the above. They don't want any of the candidates. 47,000 people voted for somebody other than the two Republicans.
And if he
on the
just
ballot.
beats her by 10% in South Carolina, just 10%.
Yeah.
I mean, the polls they're saying are 30, and those are state polls and regional polls.
Sure.
But if he just beats her by 10%,
mm-hmm.
She's over. She's finished. People have wasted their money.
Yeah. Well, coming up.
But you've got this PAC comment about Biden's top super PAC received new dark money. So I guess everybody didn't watch the news conference.
So here we go.
Here we go, buddy.
Well, as I mentioned, coming up on the 24th of February, that'll be a Saturday as well. We'll be able to kind of, we're on too early to report anything to you, but South Carolina's got 50 Republican delegates up, and so that's the big test as to whether. Now, Haley says she's going to stay until Super Tuesday. So, I guess we'll see. If she's got the money to continue on, I don't know if she does or not, Shane, but, it'd be tough for her.
Well, she'll continue till Super Tuesday, but the interesting thing, and I checked, she hasn't filed for any other primaries after that yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She still has lots of time, but she hasn't.
Sure.
She hasn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so anyway, 2 weeks from today will be South Carolina, 50 delegates for the Republicans, and then on the 27th, the following Tuesday, we've got Michigan, 117 for the Democrats and 16 delegates for the Republicans. And then March 2nd is Super Tuesday. And in March, you've got primaries on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 12th, 15th, 16th, 19, 23, and 30. So March is quite a
lion. March came out like a
I was
lion.
going to say it's going to be a lion thing there. So yeah, but Super Tuesday, you got 16 states in there plus American Samoa, and then it goes into other states going into into March and April and whatever.
And as crazy as it sounds, and I'm going to do this because just to see what kind of reaction everyone gets. So the ticket for 28 is two governors, Governor of Florida against the Governor of California. That'll be the Republican Democratic ticket.
No, DeSantis is done. He's over.
No,
he's done like dinner.
No, he'll run in 28.
Nah, he won't. Yeah, not going to happen. Nope, he'll retire in beautiful Florida and smell the coffee and the pina coladas or whatever they got down there, and he'll.
Yeah, now he can afford beachfront after raising money to run for president.
Well, I agree with you that he will. That Newsom will run in 28. I think he's poised to go there. I do not think he's going to go in there against Trump because I think he's just too far left. California doesn't really like him all that much, although he would carry California more than likely. But still, I think he's going to sit it out till 28. He's still a young guy, plenty of time. If he can turn California around, then got something going. But other than that, don't think so.
Well, it's tough for the captain of a ship to, take it off the ice. I'll be gentle. The ice.
Yeah.
And try and turn the ship around and go the other way.
Yeah, that's true. Amen to that. Well, the White House went on attack Friday against a special counsel report that gave Republicans and critics of President Biden new ammunition to go after his age and fitness for office. Ian Sams, the spokesperson for the White House counsel office, who rarely appears in the briefing room podium, blasted gratuitous passages in the report by special counsel Robert Hurd that characterized Biden as an elderly man with memory problems. So we'll talk more about that when we come back. So,
okay.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. Hey, we still got a full hour and a half to go, so don't go away. Hey, we've got a lot to talk about here as the morning goes on. We got to talk about we have a Montana ski area that was open 4 days, no snow. Trump's 14th Amendment case at the Supreme Court. We've also got New York City. They're handing out $53 million in prepaid credit cards to illegals. And we'll talk about the cost of illegal immigration as we go along. So stay tuned. A lot more to come. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everyone. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Saturday, February 10th, 2024, Super Bowl weekend. Tommy Gulliff, your morning mayor in the house. Shaman Tallman, half man, half amazing, in Kamloops, Canada.
I am.
Okay.
Whoa.
Where are you?
I don't know where I am.
Well, turn something down because you got a lot going on there.
That my computer. Yeah, it's on my third leg.
I tell you, you got to get rid of that thing. You got to get rid of that.
Yeah, I need a new one. You
need a new one. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Well, in local news, Matt Rosendale going to run for the Senate. Makes that
Big
official.
Mistake.
Well,
Big
I think
mistake.
so too. Yeah, I think.
But it's a big mistake for two reasons. One, he's wasting money and time running against a great candidate for Senate. Number one, And number two, the junior senator is in charge of the Senate elections in the U.S. So, he's not even listening to the junior senator who would become the senior senator if he happened to win.
Yeah.
So this is a terrible political situation in your state by the Republican Party, who has one of these typical politicians that has no interest in anybody else but himself. It's all about him.
Yeah.
So, Rosendale, you're a flunky. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well,
just from his personal attitude about all this.
Trump gave Sheehy the his endorsement, which may be the death knell for him based on past performance of Trump endorsing candidates in the past couple of elections. Yeah. that may not be what he wants, yeah. But we'll see. But yeah, I agree. I think I don't know. These two going head to head might be a good thing. I don't know. But I don't know. A lot of folks in Montana haven't been in Matt's camp. I think he was elected rather than we want anybody but a Democrat. So Matt is the next best thing. So
I think the tough thing for this situation is it's as bad as the presidential election.
Yeah.
The Tester's, this is third term. So that works against him because he really shouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. Number two, he has no legacy. He can't claim that the military or veterans as a legacy. It's not. Mm-hmm. When he let so many other things that would have been far more important politically and economically for the state of Montana. I'm not saying the veterans aren't important. They need to be cared for. Of course they do. We all agree on that. But, he had the power of the pen and the vote to tell the president and the Senate majority leader, go stuff it. I'm voting against it.
Yeah.
And he could have had total power for 4 years, Thomas.
Yeah. No,
he would have had to do it just once, and he would have had total power. He could have been the majority leader of the Senate for 4 years.
Yeah. Well, Rosendale voted against certifying the 2020 presidential election results. He helped oust Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. His appearance still lost another round of broadsides against his main election competitor, Tim Sheehy, who is a Republican businessman from Bozeman, announced his candidacy for the Senate last summer with the support of GOP leaders, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and Montana U.S. Senator Steve Daines, and plus he picked up the endorsement of Donald Trump. So whether any or all of those will help him in the general election or in the primaries, I guess we'll just have to find out somehow.
That's right. And the terrible thing is you won't find out until June.
Well, that's the thing. Idaho's ahead of us, Shane, by about 2 months.
Well, yeah, but so is everything else. I mean,
well, that's true.
Is Biden around? Does Trump get the right side of the law? Is Haley still in? Most of 80% of the primaries will be done.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, but the only primary in June that anyone's going to pay attention to is California. We all know that.
There you go. All right. Let's get caught up on our app chat and our text lines. From our app chat line, Comer has nothing. If he had checks, show them or shut up. He's lying and auditioning for a cabinet position. Well, Comer showed the checks. He showed the $400,000 check, the $40,000 check. So he's shown the checks.
Oh, yeah.
But as I said last week, put up or shut up. This guy's been hanging out for a year and a half and keeps saying he's got all this stuff. He sounds like Adam Schiff, taking on Trump. So if you got something, get it out there.
Well, it's true on that side, but they didn't expect everything else that would cause the presidency of Biden to collapse like it has.
Well,
so this has always been a political play. That's been my viewpoint, from the beginning. as I call it, the Biden dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So I just always have saw it as something to keep the notion in front of the American people that Biden is running a family crimes syndicate in the government, and has been. We now find out from this investigation of his files since he was a senator, but can't remember.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, we don't know what's going on there. So, from our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone. Morning, Tom and Shane. Bruce here, Menace from Ennis. Listening on the KMMS app. Looks like Matt Rosendale is vacating the seat in Congress and running for the Senate against incumbent John Tester. Mitch McConnell, Mitch McConnell's boy, Tim Sheehy, has got a good start on Matt, but I believe out with Mitch and his lackeys. And a lot of folks aren't too happy with Mitch McConnell. And
no, he should be gone too. But this Rosendale thing, the other issue about this is wrong. He had 80%, 85% chance of being reelected congressman.
Oh, probably.
Now you have to go through that process. Now you're going to have somebody else run for his seat that he's going to give up to run for the Senate.
Mm-hmm. Well, for the benefit of our listeners who may not know, the entire House of Representatives is up for re-election every 2 years, and 1/3 of the Senate. So that's how these things work. So we were talking earlier.
When they talk about term, let me throw this in. When all these people talk about term limits, it's all a misdirection, because the term limits are in there. Every 2 years, you have a federal election.
Yeah,
like you said, the entire Congress and 1/3 of the Senate, and senators are 6 years, so they rotate out.
Yep.
It takes 3 cycles or 6 years for all 100 senators to have to run again.
Yeah.
And the president's election is every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those are term limits.
Yeah.
You may not like them, but the founding fathers saw that and created it in the Constitution.
Yeah.
So when people talk term limits,
they did do term limits. Term limits really didn't come along until Roosevelt, FDR.
Well, that's right.
To where they put that into law. Now,
that's right. And then they reduced the term limit for the president to
8 years.
To 8 years, and then the 25th Amendment.
Yeah. Well, the other thing regarding the term limits, if you're going to have term limits, and I think the reason people are shouting for term limits is because 86% of incumbents go back. It's not my guy. It's the guy in New Jersey. It's the guy in Wisconsin. Right. It's the guy in Texas. That's my problem. Not my guy.
That's right.
So yeah. Now, if you are going to have term limits with the Congress, with the House of Representatives retiring every 2 years, every one of those people who are voted out or would be term limited out would have a pension. So you're going to have to do something with a pension, because every 2 years, if you got 200, congressmen term limited out, and they get their pension, you're gonna make the deficit worse than it ever was. So,
well, should Trump win again, he will have created a new generational view of this, because in 2016, when we were on at the time, there were 140 million registered or eligible people to vote in your country in federal elections, and only 70 million showed up, 80 million showed up.
Yeah.
But with him and Clinton, it was 120 million.
Yeah.
And then in 2020, it increased even more. So now all of a sudden, you've got the millennials and our generation, and what's left of the great generation. Now, 70% are voting, where before it was like 40%. So we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah. From our text line, 406-478-8298. Pulses, we were talking about pulses earlier. It's a National Pulse Day or something like that, or International Pulse Day. Pulses are considered
Some
peas.
vegetable day.
Yeah, peas, lentils, and chickpeas, often called garbanzo beans, healthy for the soil, adding natural nitrogen back in the soil, often used as a rotation with wheat. And that's from our good listener, Kenny. And thanks for signing your text, Kenny.
Well, that's great, Kenny, because now I know what you're talking about, because my father loved garbanzo.
Yeah, garbanzo beans, pretty cool
Italian
stuff.
cooking,
Yeah.
right? His mom put him in everything.
Yeah.
You know, the French use capers and the Italians use garbanzo beans.
Yeah. A correction, Shane, when we were talking about Biden showing classified documents regarding a book, it was Biden's memoir, not his son's book.
Oh, okay.
And that's my understanding, too, that it was for his book, his memoir, not Hunter.
Well, the interesting thing about that, too, that came out on Thursday, or on all of this, is the ghostwriter for his book taped it all. But apparently he then threw away all the tape.
Well, I have no idea. Don't know. Haven't heard that.
Yeah.
So.
We'll find out, I guess, at some point.
All right. Let's take a phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Thomas Joel.
Hey, Joel.
Got a couple of comments. Your complaint about Comer is not really complete. That the only people that have a real say in this next election is the voter, and even if he gets somebody impeached, you get the judge and jury on the other side, i.e., the Department of Justice, and so that's not going to go anywhere. So the voter is the only one that can really make a determination on what's going to happen. And then where Biden is concerned, who would be easier to beat in an election than Biden? Keep him on the roll as long as you can.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's going to stay in, unfortunately for the Democrat Party, but we'll see. Biden's road to re-election, in my estimation, if he lasts till November, if gravity doesn't get him before that, is the abortion issue in the various states.
Well, there's so many issues that with the economic issue is something that hits Democrat and Republican alike. So, and I spend all day listening to the radio mainly and hearing that the black population and the
Hispanics.
Thank you. That they're going more for the Republican idea. What it amounts to is whatever Democrat runs is bad news because they got bad ideas, and then some of the times they got bad people too. So no matter what Democrat it is, it's the same deal. They're all going to their economic thoughts are bad for the population, bad for me.
Yeah.
So and I don't think I'm alone. I think I'm among millions.
That's true. That you are.
Okay.
All right, Joel. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. All right. Yeah. Shane, regarding the economy, while it affects us, is the economy going to drive me to the voting booth like abortion will?
It already has.
Well, I don't know about that.
Corn inflation's at 3.2, so you're still at 12 to 15% inflation.
Yeah,
but
I'm living with that. I'm is
well,
that going
you may be, Tom, but
Is that going to
maybe, but a
change?
lot of them.
Is that going to change? The price
you may
of
be living
cornflakes
with it,
going to
but a
come
lot of
down if Trump's elected?
You may think that it's not affecting you, but it's affecting.
It's
85%
affecting me,
of
but I'm
American
living with it. It's affecting me. I don't like it,
Yeah,
but
but-
I'm living with it. And if I
Well,
if I elect
there's-
Haley or I elect Trump, is
Now you're talking. Can I talk, please? You asked me a question. Can I answer?
well, I thought you did, but go ahead.
No, I was. You keep interrupting me.
Oh well, sorry.
So the problem that you have is that it's threefold. This is a global problem, so it comes back to the U.S. as well. You're seeing the literal collapse of the market now in China. China's now in a depression. They don't know it because they don't know what one is like, or that they're a capitalist society now, basically run by communists. But fact is it's collapsed. Unemployment in 18 to 35-year-olds in China now is at 65%. And you have now 600 million people in China over 60 years old. So they know the numbers, but they don't want to admit to them. Their economy is in the dump. The real estate economy is gone, which built the country. That's what created this machine for them. But it never became a consumer, consumer population. The 400 million people still supporting the economy in China. They're not buying Chinese. They're buying anything else. In Europe, you've got the same problem. They were saved from, major recessions in the different countries. But inflation is terrible in Germany. It also is double digit. In Britain, it's double digit. France, Rome, Italy. All the major countries in Europe are being hurt. The confusion over climate control and what it really means is one that people are scratching their head at and saying, nature is natural. It's not man-made. So you may want to say it's man-made to raise money and try and do something about it. But when you look at the billions, look at globally trillions raised for climate, change, and none of it's gone to reinforce the ability for people in Europe to put out fires. I mean, that's something that simple. You look at the storm that hit Los Angeles this week, and the result of it, you realize that nature's natural. Finally, politically, globally, when you look at people and the positions they're taking in South America, Central America, Europe, everybody's moving away from the left, away from the woke, and more right. So back to the United States. Again, you still have the same thing. The bottleheads on CNBC are talking about how great the debt situation is. It's not. They come on every week with the debt report of the Treasury Department's offerings for debt, and it's still 25 to 30% of it's being bought. So most of that are pension funds or institutions or banks, states, corporations, and countries that still hold most of the $7 trillion we've talked about for their own ability to trade with the United States. So, yeah, that and the commercial real estate market is falling into a depression. We've covered it now for 4 weeks. The highlights are commercial real estate in New York City is down 40%. Square foot charges have dropped from $80 to $600 a square foot to $35 to $85. Well, there's still higher end square foot charges for different buildings, but so all these things it's the perfect storm, and Bidenomics, while they keep touting it, by March or April is not going to be widely believed any more than it is now. Now I'm done.
Well, I'll ask again. Will any of that crap send anybody to the polls voting for Trump or Haley or somebody else? I don't think so.
And it will move the African American vote his way. It looks like it's going to be over 20%. If it's over 15, he wins.
Not
Just
a
there.
chance. Not a
The
chance.
Mexican American vote is moving 35%. If that's even 10 to 15%, he wins. And now you've got the Generation Z. They went to school. They have this debt, and yes, Biden's trying to buy them off by saying they don't have to pay it, but that doesn't help them because they can't find a job. So they really. There are a lot of good people out there that are young that want to work. They're not lazy, but if you can't find a job that's paying you a basic salary of $50,000 to $60,000 a year, $5,000 a month, you're lucky to have parents to live with, because you'd be living on the street. And they know they're one doorstep away from living on the street without their parents, because they can't afford to buy or rent anything.
Well, I still don't believe the economy is going to send people to the polls, because they're just living day to day. They've become accustomed to it, Shane. They've become accustomed to the inflation that's there. Gas is going back up again. But still, I don't. It's going to move some people, but I don't. Unless people can make the connection that Trump or Haley or whoever it is, JFK Jr., Marianne Williamson, is going to make something better, and they are convinced that they're going to make something better, I don't think the economy is going to turn anybody out, but abortion will. And all the states are battling with that, and we saw it in 2020, how powerful it is, and that does get people to the polls. So there we are. That's my.
Well, 2020 was Biden was in a basement, so there was nothing else, but that for the Republicans to talk about. And I agree with you, Bob, that abortion is a big subject. When I see what happened in 2020 with the Senate elections, and that idiot senator from South Carolina, Graham.
Yeah.
What he said, 2-3 weeks before the election, we're going to take the Senate back and we're going to do federal legislation about abortion. And
yeah, right.
He's the one who ruined the Senate election. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Anyway, I think someone's on the phone.
They are. If you'll talk to them while we're gone, I will get us out of here. That's going to wrap it up for this segment. Hey, we still got a full hour to go. Shane will be chatting with a caller on the phone, and I will return after the news. Stay tuned. Don't go away. Welcome back, everyone. It is 7 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m. It's Saturday. It's February 10th, 2024, Super Bowl weekend. Tom and Shane on the air, and we are happy to be here with you. And let's see, Shane, do we have a caller still on the line?
No. Ben had to move away, but he was calling to comment that he agreed with me that the economy and war are the two concerns that he thinks Americans are going to go to the poll to vote on.
Okay. Let's see. From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS, don't read any text because that might hurt your ratings. Do you really believe for 1 second that anyone here in this building gives one rat's ass about our ratings? What they're looking at is, hey, there's a guy down there that's working for free and he hasn't created any waves, so I guess we'll just leave him there. So,
and he's popular and people listen. We have great ratings. So
right.
We thank all the listeners that are loyal to us.
Yeah.
Hey, we were
the number 2 radio show, only being on once a week in the Bozeman Magazine reader poll with 30,000 entries. So anyway, please don't read any text because that might hurt your ratings and hurt the feelings of your listeners to learn they've been lied to. Well, what, been lied to by us? I don't think so. I don't think that.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think so. Now, because we record everything, if we were lying, then you'd be able to say, hey, on April 7th of 2:15, or whatever. Hey, Tom
Makes
and
Shane
Shane.
pick a Saturday when you say that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
40 excuse me, from our text line, 406-478-8298. Hey, Tom and Shane, I noticed you two avoided commenting on Clint's question about the UFO stopping the mother of all bombs. That's from our good friend Jerry. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's just that we've commented on it before.
Yeah.
And if you saw the movie Oppenheimer, which I thought wasn't a very entertaining movie, it was informative, but he was right, the destroyer of worlds. Look, having the capacity of nuclear weapons is a universal weapon. So any species that exists or that exists out there understands the power of a nuclear weapon. Now, what could be different from that? Well, something more electrical, like a beam, a laser, something that's has to do with light. They could be perhaps more powerful. Maybe one day we'll find out. But yeah, I think that his comment about UFOs is right. And I've always said for 10 years, Tom, you've heard me say that the greatest number of sightings occurred after, the Trinity test and the first nuclear weapon. Mm-hmm. And so if they're out there flying around and they know we're one of maybe more than one species like them, they'll probably keep tabs on us because we now have the capability of, defending ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's no different than what we talked about earlier about, nuclear weapons with him and mutual assured destruction. So, music is the language of the universe, I think. Numbers are the science of the universe. And the nuclear weapon is the weapon. It's a universal weapon.
Well, my feeling on UFOs have always been, I don't doubt there are things in the sky that we can't explain. However, I do believe, based on the fact that it took millions of years for the Earth to cool and get an atmosphere and do the other things, and then it became
hundreds of millions.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. And it also took many thousands of years for life to appear and for intelligent life to appear. And conditions didn't have to be perfect for just a few years. We're talking about conditions that have to be perfect for millions of years for this to happen. So based on that, I don't doubt there's life on other planets and maybe intelligent life on other planets, but the ability of those people to reach us is pretty damn remote, in my opinion.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. Look, we know from geology, anthropology, archaeology, and other things that we talked about that there have been 5 confirmed extinction level events. Well, one from an asteroid, and 2 from
what does that have to do with extraterrestrial life?
Well, let me finish. So the bottom point of all of this that's so amazing, what a miracle. In all those events, 98 to 99% of all life was wiped out on the planet. But it came back. It took millions of years, but, it's all come back and renewed itself. And in the fifth recovery of an event like that, which, science tells us was an ice age. We were an ice planet up to 75,000 years ago, which doesn't seem like a lot. But anyway, having said that, it's pretty remarkable. So it's pretty amazing what this galactic, existence and this galactic eternity may unfold.
Yeah. Let's take a phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, you are on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, boys. Right on, John here.
John, how you doing?
Oh, crazy as a loon. Well, you messed me on up. I did see a UFO. I could almost touch the darn thing. It was that close, and we didn't in the past. We didn't think that we could break the speed of sound. We did that when we're up to hypersonic speeds. And if you go back in history, even pre-Anunnaki and all the signs and symbols and everything still show
Exactly. Yeah.
UFOs. So they're here. But getting on here, happy getting older day, Jerry, out there in Big Timber. And on a fun note here, it's sad but true. Or it's just sad, but didn't Biden say his favorite team in the Super Bowl is the Molson Canadians against the Kansas City Bengals?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Something like that. And for Clint, the rockets and missiles that we have here, it's called peace through strength. Having that, and with the EMP, it would only be temporary because it just basically wipes out the batteries and some computer chips and a few things like that. Let's see here. I was really impressed with the Supreme Court. The leftist lawyer there just got hammered. And I'm not talking just from bourbon or whiskey or anything like that. The stock market, oh my God, it's I think the S&P is highest it's ever been, and from your winnings in the stock market on Facebook, maybe Tom, you can buy me lunch.
Well, no problem. Went up $75 last Friday.
No.
Week ago Friday, sorry.
Seen in the market, I've seen on the market. I'm projecting if there's something's going to happen in this next week, that they're going to have a major correction and it's going to drop lower than it was before. A little bit more of a correction. With Matt Rosendale, I had more respect for him until he decided to run for Senate. I may have to run for Senate now, for Congress out there.
There you go.
Move my motorhome over there. And some people I'm talking to are saying, instead of the cookie cutter answers, people want to hear, what are you actually going to do for not just Montana, but for the country, instead of the cookie cutter thing. I went out to Tim Sheehy's place there, one of his businesses, Berger Aerospace, looking for a real high-tech job or doing stuff like that. And so I'm in the works for maybe getting on to some pretty high-tech stuff. We'll see. If not, I'll be a laborer and try and make some money in time. And then with the term limits that you guys were talking about earlier, if they went with a 3-term limit, 4, 8, 12, or whatever on else, instead of 2, I think that would the numbers would match on up. And if they reach a certain age, I think you mentioned something about that, Tom, that 81 or something like that, then they're automatically termed out. So
there you go.
That's my fun for today.
All right, man.
I'm looking to having a good steak with you on Facebook, Tom.
All right, no problem. Thanks a lot. All right, have a good day. All right. Let's see. Shane, Teton Pass ski area near Shoto was able to operate just 4 days this season because of no snow.
Wow.
Let's take another phone call.
All right.
406-522-TALK is the number. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on? Okay. Nobody there, I guess. Yep. All right. 4 days. The ski. That's got to be tough on the people that run that place, Shane.
Yeah, especially the young people. They rely on that. They rely on that seasonal work, and it's just a hardship, right?
Yeah,
it's just really hardship.
Yeah. Well, we talked a little bit earlier about it, but Trump's 14th Amendment case goes to the Supreme Court. They'll most of their opinions come in June, but I think on this one, Shane, I think they're going to do that. They're going to come back with a decision quicker than June.
Oh yeah, I look. They sat down yesterday and decided. They've already decided, and the Chief Justice has appointed someone to write the opinion. Although I think he wants to write the opinion, so I think, as I said earlier in the second block, I think there may be one justice that supports Colorado to write a dissenting opinion, and then he'll write the majority opinion. And I say before the end of February. It's got to be right away. There's just too. It's too important. When I heard one of the Kagan say to these lawyers from Colorado, so what you're telling us, one state can decide the presidential election.
Yeah.
And, they just didn't have an answer to that.
Yeah.
And,
well, what is Texas going to kick Biden off and Florida kick Biden off the ticket if that passes? I mean,
yeah, exactly. I mean, you're just back with the same problem, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's take another phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number. Call your on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Hi, this is Christy, and I've been listening to you today.
Yeah, thanks.
On your, you get this multiple thing about the text of who's being lied to and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do have to question who's being lied to. I get a lot of my information from like Judicial Watch. They get the FOIA reports. Then they get more FOIA reports opened up than Congress can because we've been doing this for a long time. And then then they send us stuff that's printed and, that's in black and white. So I don't know who they're listening to. Maybe they should look at who they've been listening to and review that. Think about who's been lying to them.
All right. Yeah.
That's a great analysis, and I'm glad you called to make that point because with what information people have access to in the 21st century, it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and like Congressman Comer is a banker, and there's other bankers now that are in Congress, and they know how to look. They do intrinsic banking, and they know where to track and find illicit funds like Biden has been doing. So, we have people are investigating that have real world skills. So they shouldn't be dismissing these people. They should be going, what?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well,
exactly.
I wish Comer would come forward with something a little more substantial and, more of a smoking gun. And I don't know what he's waiting for, but, unless he's going to drop bombshells somewhere in the middle of the election.
Yeah, well, we wish they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
They just be upfront about it because,
Well, it could backfire. Could backfire on them. Yeah.
But I mean, the tricks that they've been doing for years, has always been right at the, October surprise stuff. That, so.
Yeah, that's been great.
Yeah.
But, and then, this thing about Rosendale, I think that it might be interesting. I saw an interview with him by Lou Dobbs last night on YouTube, a real recent one. And, he has his reasons for running for Senate. And I think that, it's well worth listening to him. But, it's hard to divide and conquer. I don't know. Sometimes, you're better off to have just a front runner, but he has his reasons for not wanting to, go in place with he.
Sure.
But there's a lot going on here. But again, Judicial Watch, they get the FOIA request. They get it cracked open. So people, the lies can't be covered up. You can't,
So I have, if I may, I just want to ask you a question before you go. I apologize. I don't mean to interrupt you. But imagine if you've listened today. I would like your take, being an American woman, of your view of, is abortion more important to you to go to vote in this election, or is the economy and inflation?
Well, I'm a pro-life person, so my feeling is that I don't want, the economy is more important to me, but the pro-life situation is, what they're trying to push people. They've changed that argument about abortion, and they've taken, miscarriage is out of the terminology in abortion, and they've used, essentially a tragic situation, and they've used that to prop up abortion. And so there are times that, medically things are needed, and, medical help is needed, and they're saying that they're, that being anti-abortion is being anti-health care, and that's not true. So everything's pretty well twisted in this world. So I was very glad to see that the decision that the Supreme Court did says that it's not a federal thing; it should be within the state. I was very glad to see that, but now, it's how we deal with it. But we should have some very clear reasons and rules, and it's not a woman's body; it's a child.
Yeah.
A fetus is a child. So,
all right.
That's my feeling. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Yeah. Well, the thing about abortion being on the ballot is that there is a correction somewhere. Either we're going to have this situation, are you going to vote yes or no? And I think that's what's going to turn people out. There isn't anything on the ballot that says this guarantees to reduce the inflation 10% or 5% or 2%. The abortion issue has a finality to it, and that's what will turn people out. And House Democrats are making abortion their number one issue on the campaign trail this year, as lawmakers bet the GOP's effort to roll back abortion rights will drive more people to vote for President Biden and congressional Democrats. At their strategy retreat in North Virginia, House Democrat leaders said that the fight to protect abortion rights will rise above all issues. Democrats want to draw a contrast to Republicans both nationally and in the states as GOP officials in states like Texas look to enact even stronger anti-abortion policies. And I tend to agree with that, Shane. The other thing that is going to happen, I think, in this election, every governor has the right to call whatever kind of election they want. And look to these blue state governors to do mail-in ballots, do anything that's going to favor the Democrat Party.
Well, I agree with you on that, perhaps, but they're going to be in a real quandary because of printing. But with regard to abortion, one comment I want to make about it is it's no longer a national issue. You make it a national issue by what you're arguing. People will go out and vote about abortion because their states now will be making or wanting to have people vote on state legislation regarding it. So abortion still has coattails because people will go to the polls if their state, if they disagree or whether they agree or disagree what their state is doing.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
The people, well, no, that's not what you're saying.
Yeah, it is.
So, no, it's not. So what will drive people to the polls is it's no longer a national issue. It would be wrong for the Republicans to make it a national issue. It's now a state's issue, and that's why people will, if their state has legislation to vote on in the election regarding abortion.
True. That's what I said. We'll be right back right after this. 27 minutes for the top of the hour, and it's Saturday. It's February 10th, 2024, Super Bowl weekend. Shane Talman, half man, half amazing, is on the line. Tony Galoff, your morning mayor, in the house, and we've got a caller on the line, so let's take some calls. 406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Call your own with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Hi, Tom and Shane. This is Steve.
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Well, I think as a country, we're kind of in deep, doo-doo.
Well, of course we are.
And
look who's running it. Well, actually, Steve, we don't know who's running it.
Well, that's for damn sure. Because I don't think it's hiding Biden, because he couldn't pour piss out of a boot if the directions are written on the heel.
The guy can't spell Bob backwards.
That's right. Anyway, the problem with this whole thing is we send our children to the public school system, which is the 10th plank of the Communist Manifesto. They come out of there, they don't know what the Constitution says, they don't follow it, and they get away with it because the people don't know. The only way that we have a little bit is like call-in shows like this, where we can at least talk about some of the problems, because ABC, CBS, NBC is all controlled by the same people you pay your income tax to, which is the 10th plank of or second plank of the Communist Manifesto. And so it's time for people to wake up. And I don't know how that's going to happen, but it's...
Well, I think this is a wake-up year, Steve. I think this more than any other election, and maybe Shane can weigh in on this as well, that I don't recall that we've ever had a perfect storm election where we have a incompetent president, where we've had all these issues. We've got immigration, we've got the economy, we've got abortion, we've got two wars going on, all over the world, and for all this to accumulate, in one place, I not in my history, and I've been through 15 presidents.
Yeah, me too, and I think it has to be this way in order for people to wake up, because the money changers have been running this planet for a long time, and they warned us about that. December 23rd, midnight, 1913, 2 congressmen stayed back and voted in the Federal Reserve Act. And we're not supposed to have an income tax, but,
here we are.
We didn't teach it. They didn't teach us any of this stuff in our public school system, I believe, on purpose, not that our common school teacher knew anything, but they sent them to the same school we got. And so they come out, think they're going to educate the little children.
Yeah.
Well,
doesn't work.
It's not working very good right now, is it?
No, it's not. Yeah, a lot of people are homeschooling their kids, exactly as you're talking about. We've seen the FBI go after school board meetings, parents as terrorists, domestic terrorists. That alone should give you some kind of a sign as to the kind of society that is being foisted upon us.
Well, that's right. And I just drove across. I went to see Clint and had coffee with Clint at his house. Drove across the back way down Baxter.
Yeah. And
you got these people living out there. They can't afford to pay rent at these because our money has been devalued so much that they can't afford to live in a house. Now they're out there living in their trailers and these back subdivisions, and then the government don't want them out there either. Well, I don't know what these people are supposed to do. They can't. Our money isn't worth anything, so they can't afford to pay rent, and we don't own anything in America today. You don't own your house, you don't own your car, you don't own anything. And anyway,
all right,
guys,
man.
At least we can yak about it on this radio station.
Ain't that the
thanks
truth?
for the opportunity.
All right, man. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Yeah, this is Robert.
Hi, Robert.
We do have term limits. It's called voting.
Right.
And it's just too bad that so many people don't have the time to educate themselves on who's running and who's not. And I mean, you have to do quite a bit of work and effort to get both sides of the story. And you can't make an opinion unless you hear both sides of the story. You know. No,
you're absolutely right. Yeah, well, we're so busy with work and our kids, and the voice is on, the view's on. We've got to watch these shows because can't use that time to research anything.
I agree. That's what I said. And I agree 100% with that. Another thing, carbon dating, like it goes back and everything. I'd like to know who calibrated that.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Then,
that's like that. Who was the first guy to set the sundial?
Yeah. Anyway, and one more thing, and then I'll let you go. Is Tom, why are you so against the sales tax?
Oh, against the sales tax? Well, I've been to states where the sales tax starts out at 4%, and then all of a sudden it's 10 or 8 or whatever. And if you're going to get rid of a tax, I would either get rid of the property tax or get rid of the personal income tax.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, and Terry White had that bill to get rid of the property tax, and the sales tax, like you say, keeps going in. And if you get that in, like you said before, we could sunset it or this or that. But the property tax does not go up, and we have no say whatsoever on that.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I think over time, we could phase out the property tax in Montana, and that would make us a very attractive state where, Steve pointed out, you don't own your home. You don't. If you don't pay taxes on your property, trust me, the sheriff's going to show up and show you the curb.
Either that or they sell your deed.
Well, yeah, that's what
they'll sell your deed to somebody else. But
right,
like everybody says, you don't own your property.
No, we all pay lot rent, like it or not.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right.
So I just checked it out here, and since the 22 decision on abortion, 14 states that are Republican have already adopted through state legislation new abortion rules. There's 10 states that have new rules to be voted on in the next election.
Right.
So I don't see, there are several states that are important. The most important is Maryland because this could decide whether Maryland's blue or red. But New York has legislation to vote on. Arizona as well, and Arkansas and Colorado. So these are 4 states where you're right. It could affect the turnout because there will be on the ballot, state choice or vote. People will vote, their position on the state position, on abortion. So there you go. If you look at it from the context of that, which was my argument, I don't see it as a national issue anymore. But the abortionists will try to make it that.
Well, it's a state issue. It's not a national issue anymore. And that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Yeah. And if abortion's on the ballot in any of these states, it's going to turn out Democrats, and that state is going to their senator and their representatives are going to be Democrats, and Biden will be president if he's on the ballot.
That's why I just went over.
I know
which states have it on the ballot. Yeah.
Well, and there are other states that may be deciding it as well that haven't come forward.
Well,
yet.
a lot of states haven't, particularly Republican states, red states.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them have control of both their state houses.
Yeah.
They're so they pass legislation that they want.
Yeah.
And people can try and get, if they oppose it, they can try and get something on the ballot. Like in Montana, Montana is one of these states, and you want to change your constitution, so it's on. Yeah. They're trying to get the 60,000 signatures they need to have it on the ballot. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll find out. Well, Shane, I don't know where it ends, but New York City will launch a $53 million pilot program to hand out prepaid credit cards to migrant families housed in hotels. And the New York Post, citing city records, reported that 500 migrant families at the Roosevelt Hotel will receive prepaid cards to help them buy food, and the program is intended to replace the current food service provided there. So apparently, I guess they're getting room service at the hotel. So.
Well, there's a bit of a problem with New York in that regard because Visa and MasterCard have refused to do that. The only credit card or charge card that's agreed to is American Express. Even the mayor said that last week.
Yeah.
So that's an issue because not everyone takes American Express, number one.
Well, that's true.
And, the sad reality to this is their justification with so much poverty that American citizens are living in, that they're giving money to people that are in your country illegally and don't have any right to it.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they come to that decision and believe that people don't care.
Yeah.
They'll still vote for them. They'll still vote for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, all the people living in the trailers around Bozeman are wondering, hey, where in the heck is my prepaid card? Now, I don't know why credit cards would refuse to do this. I mean, it would be a prepaid card. It wouldn't be a credit card with a limit. It would be prepaid, and when the thing is up, it's up.
Yeah, I understand. So you get those either from credit card companies or banks.
Yeah.
And
or Walmart.
Well, I guess you could get
we bought them at Walmart. We bought prepaid MasterCards and gave them away at our night with Tom and Shane. Yeah. A family of four might be provided nearly $1,000 each month or $35 per day for food, and the cards are replenished every 28 days. So as prepaid cards, the government, I guess, New York governor would do this. So the New Jersey company Mobility Capital Finance has partnered with the city to run the program. So they're going to be in charge of the cards, I guess. So.
Yeah, we had this issue, I think you'll probably remember, it was 8 years ago when our new prime minister was allowing 45,000 people from Europe into Canada from Syria and Iraq and providing what basically, when you add it all up, was like $6,000 a month for a family of four.
Yeah.
And but within 2 years that ended, and government doesn't do that anymore because people didn't like it.
Yeah.
And he hasn't brought in any more people. He was going to bring in. He said he had plans of bringing in over 100,000 a year, but he just it never came up, and no more were brought in. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But some people look at this and I talked to my sister the other day, and she was saying, I wouldn't want to come to Canada. It's a socialist country.
Well, yeah. Why would you want to be there? Holy smokes! Yeah.
Yeah, in some ways, right. But
sucks.
Looking at what's going on in America, Tom, you got to wonder, right?
That's it. I'm gonna say I'll put our country up against anybody else for being stupid. From our text
getting away with it.
And getting away with it. From our text line, 406-478-8298. Tom, you're so perfect, huh? Well, compared to other radio talk show hosts on Saturday morning, I am as about as perfect as you can get. A little racist, Shane. I have no idea what Shane said that would be terminated racist. So, don't know. So, be a little more descriptive in your text.
People that listen to our show and participate and need to know that the Eagle Man, Thomas Eaglehoff, he's the producer, he's the host, he gets this set up for everyone to be able to enjoy, and he doesn't have some producer talking to him. He does it all on his own. So
the buck stops here.
And that's right. Well, several bucks.
Several bucks stop here. None of them going into our pockets, of course, but I'm so thankful that Town Square Media will allow me to use their antiquated equipment here.
I'm so thankful we live in two countries that we can do this.
Well, that's true.
About anyone.
Yeah, there you go.
We can be sarcastic or insulting or fun or make jokes and comment, and it's a remarkable thing. Because, boy, when you look at the rest of the world, it's pretty desperate.
Amen. I don't know. So, let's see. I'm trying to find something from our text line that is airworthy. Black women have 5 times as many abortions as any other race in the United States. Yeah, you have a better chance of being born or being aborted in New York City than you have of being born. And that's why the Hispanic population has surpassed the black population as the number 2 or number 1 minority, I guess, in the United States. So, Joe Biden, confuser in chief, rage of elderly man with poor memory who leads the world. What can I tell you?
Yeah, when you hear that,
yeah.
I know, but when you hear that, it's a bit overwhelming. At least it is for me.
Yeah. Well, if immigration's going to lead you to the border, I've got a website for you, fairus.com, F-A-I-R, like county fair, fairus.com, but .org, sorry, fairus.org. They keep a running count. 5,071 people have illegally crossed the border today so far, Shane, and it's not even noon yet. At the start of 2023, the net cost of illegal immigration for the United States at the federal, state, and local level was at least $150.7 billion. Now, FAIR arrived at this number by subtracting the tax revenue paid by illegals, which is just under $32 billion, from the gross negative economic impact of illegal immigration, which is $182 billion. So, illegal immigration costs each American taxpayer $1,156 per year, $957 after factoring in taxes that are paid by illegals.
So you add that to inflation, and that's a pretty nasty number.
Yeah. Each illegal alien or U.S.-born child of illegal aliens costs the U.S. $8,776 annually. Evidence shows that tax payments by illegal aliens cover only around 1/6 of the costs they create at all levels in this country. And the other thing that I've said, if you want to talk about the economy doing so great under Biden, add 1 million illegal people to the coffers. All have to have 3 meals a day, a place to live, and somewhere, some way, a bill crosses a desk of somebody to pay for that. So
Well, they know where they can relieve themselves, so the only real problem they have is where do they sleep.
Well, that's it. So, well, Roosevelt's Hotel. No problem.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Yeah, it's Les. I heard this morning Marco Rubio said, when they got the bill or the border thing from Schumer, 380 pages or whatever.
Yeah.
It was, he was saying, you don't need that. You could have a bill that's, 5 or 10 pages long.
Yeah.
And just cover the things that you need to cover. So, and now they're complaining that, our guy won't bring it up when they've had ours since May sitting on Schumer's desk. So now our speaker's not bringing theirs up for obvious reasons. And I'm just wondering if there's a class or somebody that could teach all these so-called politicians some common sense. It just seems that it has totally left the planet on this, especially the border. I mean, it's absolutely a no-brainer. It just baffles me beyond any normal person's thinking that they will let millions and millions and millions of people, and here we are just 4 months into the year, and we already hit 1 million.
Yeah.
So I just shake my head. And I'm old school. I'm very old and Vietnam veteran, and this just drives me crazy. It's just nuts that they let. It's like kids, a bunch of kids up there arguing over the basketball, and if you don't like it, I'm going to take it and leave, and you can just be on your own. It's no different. Their only word that they understand is can't.
Yeah.
We can't do that. I mean, we grew up, Tom, and your friend, there's no such word as can't. You can do anything if you want to.
Yep.
Period.
That's
I mean, otherwise people would be back with clubs and walking the ground, like the Neanderthals. There's no such word as can't. So it's just amazing. That's their excuse for everything. But we can't do this because, this and this and this. It's just unbelievable. I don't even know why we have a Senate or a Congress or a president or any. Let's go back to the federal government was only put together for about 5 reasons. Number one, the military, take care of it. The taxes and print money and protect our borders, and that's it.
There you go.
And now look at them, my gosh. They're the largest employer in the country by 2.2 million.
Yeah. Most of the jobs that have been created are government jobs. So.
Yeah, that's the ones that he keeps touting are so wonderful.
I'm so good. I'm so good.
Yeah. And then it's just amazing. We probably don't even need half of those.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that are coming out and.
Well, don't they always send home unessential personnel whenever they have a shutdown or something?
Yeah, yeah.
If they're not essential during that time, how are they essential the rest of the time?
Yeah, that's right. Not many of them are essential at all.
All right.
If they just do what they, the original founders set the government up to do, we'd be probably better off in our lives and get them out of our.
There you go. All right, man. Thanks for the call. All right. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. Sorry, caller, I don't have enough time for you. Unfortunately, I got to let Shane say goodbye. Shane.
I will indeed. Thank you, my best friend forever, Thomas. It's a great privilege to sit and talk with you and all of our listeners. Thank you, everyone, for the phone calls, texts, and listening in to us. As I always say, be happy, be safe. Great place to be in America and Canada right now. Live for the moment and live to work, because you want to be happy with what you do to support your family or just yourself. Right. So everyone have a great weekend. Have a great Valentine's Day. And Thomas, we will speak again next Saturday.
All right, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. All right, Super Bowl weekend. Go Chiefs, go 49ers, whoever you like. And Shane and I will return next week, as he so eloquently said, and I am out of here.